Jason, what really stood out to me, man, from watching your highlight video was the zip for your graduation year that you already have on the ball. Being a former quarterback myself, I understand how important that zip can be, but you already having it where you're at is a very good advantage. Now, don't lose it, okay? But that's also a huge advantage that you have that we can keep improving on, all right? Now, my suggestions for your highlight video are the following. The first thing I want to talk about really quick is your information slide, okay? This right here is fantastic. All right, this is how we always tell people to do it. All the information on the left, picture view on the right, okay? That is a great job there. Now, the only thing you need to make sure that you add is your height and width, okay? They want to know the tangibles of that stuff, of how tall you are, how much you weigh, and everything else, but then you put all your contact info down here. That way they know how they can get a hold of you, because the coach's time is very valuable, and I've seen coaches, when they don't have a lot of time, if they can't find a kid's info, they pass on the kid. Okay, so having all that on here is going to pay huge dividends for you. Now, the only thing I would change on this is the very end of your highlight video is take off that last information slide and how long you had it on. Okay, just put this at the very beginning. All right, because then they know, boom, I want to get this information back. They just go to the beginning, and boom, it's right there for them. Okay, so that is something that just make sure, like I said, not a big problem, not a big deal. Just clean that up at the end, but then add your height and weight, and that will help out tremendously. Okay, just that way, because those are things they really want to focus on and want to know and have. Okay, next, going to your sequence of plays. Okay, and now some of this stuff I've got on here is more for future wise as well. All right, and when we do these, we want to kind of do them in sections. Okay, and then within these sections, being a quarterback, we want to set them from pass to run. Okay, with how we do our plays. Now, like I said, the first thing we're going to start off with is long TDs. All right, now this is more of a future deal for you. Okay, because at some point in time you're going to have them. All right, and if you've got them, put them on there. Okay, but anything from pass to run first. All right, next go to short TDs. Okay, this is more your 25 and in, your red zone stuff. All right, put those on there next. Pass to run as well. Okay, because I know you had one passing, one running. Put the pass one first and the running one next. All right, and then your explosives. This is anything 15 to 20 plus yards down the field. All right, and going on that side of it, and then going to your movements next. So sometimes throwing on the runs, throwing some. If it's an explosive play, add that into your explosives. It's really big, but if it's not as big of an explosive, or it's a scramble or designed run or something like that, that's not a touchdown. This is where those movements kind of go. All right. And then lastly is your remaining offensive highlights. Okay, this is more not necessarily an explosion play, all right, but it's still good play, a good play that can showcase what you can do. All right. Now, the reason I keep talking about putting your best play to start each section, okay, is because we want to capture that coach's attention early and keep him watching. All right. And so if we have those plays early, okay, that's going to help keep him watching, because they watch 60 to 100 kids in a day, and they give you a minute. If they don't see anything after a minute, they're going to pass on. So we got to put all of our best plays at the beginning, how we got it, because the coaches like 6, that's why we did that. And they're going to explosive. Those are those big plays. They want to see the fireworks. Okay. And then kind of at the end, if they get through that, they're going to see some things they want to see of, okay, can you do this? Can you do that? That's the kind of stuff they're looking for. Okay. So that's really going to help hone in on that side of it. Now, to go over these really quick, all right, let's go to the 29-second mark here. Okay. And this will be to show on the short TD side of it. Okay. So the reason I like this, boom, quick slant. All right. Put it on the line right where it needs to be, right on the ear pocket. All right. That is a great ball there. So it's a great one to start off with. Next, go into your explosive plays. Okay. Showing off the arm a little bit. All right. Letting it fly. Okay. Boom. Put nice air, good touch, good ball outside, away from the corner. That's a great ball there. Okay. And then next, going to the play right after this, that 14-second mark. Okay. Throwing that fade again. All right. Boom. Okay, a little slant on the outside, great ball right over the corner. Okay, that's a phenomenal ball there. Okay, like I said, that's kind of that zip, putting that ball where it needs to go. That's what I see. All right, that's a great job. Next, going to your movements. Okay, this is at the 153 mark. All right, 153, 154. Okay, doing a little scrambling, nothing's there. Reacting to the pocket, boom, tuck the football, get out of bounds, protect yourself. Okay, it's a great job, good situational football right there. And then lastly, kind of showing you an example of a remaining offensive highlight. Okay, going to the 133 mark here. All right, and just showing, so like I said, what you can do. We're under pressure, get hit, not necessarily a big play, but still showcases what you can do. Okay, still be able to get in the pocket, get rocked, and deliver an out route where it needs to be, not behind him, not get picked off, anything like that. Okay, still really showing that. Now, these are what I would start each section with. Okay, then you follow suit with those. Okay, I know you've got more plays on there, so these are how I do that. Now, with that being said, within each section, okay, this is a now and for a future deal, you want to have your best 3 to 4, 5, maybe 6 plays on there. Now, within like this time frame, you might not have as many short TDs as are explosions, okay, or movement plays, or remaining offensive highlights. So kind of just fill those in and then put those in from there, because your highlight film only really needs to be 3 to 4 to 5 minutes, okay. And once we keep building from that and keep building on, I've seen guys have great highlights that are 2 minutes, okay. So just keep building on that, all right, and then keep going from there, okay. Putting those best plays. Now, like I said, change up that information slide a little bit. Really just add the height and weight, take off the one at the end, all right? Change up the flow and the sequence of those plays. Remember, pass to run, put those best plays first in each section. All right. And overall, this will provide a more dynamic highlight video for college coaches. Now, after going over the game film feedback, let's take a look at what divisions you should target. Okay, I'm basing this off the most recent highlight video, which is exactly what college coaches are going to do, and where the athlete can receive a scholarship right now. All right, this is, I'm saying right now, the film we just went over, this is what we're basing on. Okay, because this is a current evaluation opposed to a projection evaluation. Okay, we're going off a current evaluation, not projecting. Okay, so with that being said, this is based on a few criteria. The first thing is your graduation year. You've got some years to develop and keep improving and keep fine-tuning your game and getting better. Use that to your advantage, okay? Don't see this as a disadvantage. Use this to your advantage. You're getting ahead of the ball game. So boom, when you get older, you're going to know what to look for. You're going to know how to set up your highlight video to where you're not going to be behind, okay? Use that to your advantage. Next is size, mobility, accuracy, and arm strength. That's what a college quarterback coach is going to look at. So now you already know what they're looking at. These are the things I can improve on, okay? With that being said, the levels you should look at today for a scholarship are D3 and NAI, all right? Now, you probably will not start getting interest from these schools yet just based on your graduation year, but that does not mean you cannot start calling and emailing these coaches. Okay, they may not answer and call you back, but you can keep emailing them. But one of the best ways is you need to start getting your name out there through social media and DMing these coaches and make sure you're following them on X. Okay, that's really going to be the key for you with your graduation year right now. All right, send them the updated highlight video. Okay, that way they can start watching these things. You need to make sure you're marketing and branding yourself in the correct way as the quarterback and leader of the team, making sure you're doing stuff on and off the field in the right way. All right, that's going to be a huge key for you being this where you're at in the graduation year to keep building on this. Like I said, that branding and marketing is going to be huge for you. Okay, but also you got prospect camps coming up this summer. All right, you need to make sure we're attending the right ones. So when you send, you may not get necessarily a response, but kind of thinking about where these levels are at and what we can project at, or not necessarily project at what these levels are at, where we're at right now. Okay, that way you can send these coaches your film, and you need to know kind of if they're really responding to you, if they like your video or not. Okay, upon making it to camp. Okay, because we want to make sure you're putting your money towards the right camp. Sometimes when you go to these mega camps where there's 1,000 kids, as a player, it's hard, you get kind of lost. As a coach, you get kind of lost because you get a page full of 40 kids or 40-page paper with 1,000 kids on the name. It's hard to keep track of them all. All right, it's really kind of hard to develop a relationship and develop a kind of a bond and see kids develop and see what you're looking for and stuff like that when there's so many kids. All right, so make sure we're attending the right camps, and that way you can go introduce yourself to these coaches a little bit easier and develop that relationship. Okay, now when you send that midseason highlight, okay, to these coaches you've been in camp with, you're going to have that relationship with them. Okay, they're going to know who they're watching. Right? They're going to remember seeing this. Oh man, I love watching this kid. I may not be able to yet, but boom, let me pull up his film. Let me watch him real quick and just kind of get excited, see how he's developed and everything else. Okay, that's what they're looking for. But here's the deal: how can we also go attack these levels and get better? All right, that's the big key. My suggestion to improve your game that will translate to college football and possibly a higher division are the following. First thing is accuracy. Okay, work on catch and throw drills, simulating throwing the bubbles, throwing those fast screens quick game. Okay, boom, drop ball, boom, catch, throw. Work on throwing without laces. Okay, work on your drops, doing drop drills. That's going to start from the ground up. If your feet are right, everything else has got a very good chance. Okay, got to keep those feet right. Working on mechanic drills. When you're doing mechanics, aim small, miss small. Okay, it's all going back to the basics. Okay, I remember in college, you do mechanics even on pregame stuff. Okay, it's all about mechanics. College football, that window's going to get smaller and the defenders get faster. Okay, so we got to aim small, miss small. Film study. This is going to be big. If you can kind of learn this now, it's going to develop you when you get older. It's going to develop you in college. Learning to leave those receivers open at all three levels by knowing the coverage you're getting, so where your windows are going to be at. Okay, if I'm getting cover 3, my seams are going to be open. Okay, if I'm getting cover 4, more of my flats, more of that clip curl area a little bit. Okay, knowing where that stuff's going to be at. All right, knowing when we run this certain concept against this coverage, that's my open guy. Okay, start developing that IQ a little bit more. Working on that arm strength. Okay, that core leg strength, that's going to create more throwing velocity. Okay, even as you get older, players are going to get faster. You get to college, you got to have more zip on that ball because those players get faster. Okay, I remember my first time going to college and thinking, man, I got that window open. There it is. Boom. Yeah, that closed real quick. Okay, so you got to keep working on getting that faster. That's going to start from the ground up. All right, you get those legs and that core strong, that upper body is going to follow, and so is that arm. Okay, doing this through squats and exercises that are going to deal with explosion is going to be huge. All right, we're working on that explosion. That's going to create that velocity. Doing footwork drills, shuffle, weave, going between over bags, figure eight with cones, work on gap pressure simulation. Okay, have a good base when you do these. All right, and have a football in hand. This will help your mobility and your pocket awareness, which can help you translate to college level. All right, because today's game, college coaches are looking for guys who are mobile and who can be able to, when something happens and breaks down, that they can go extend that play and make a play. All right, now folks start focusing on ball security. Okay? Have that thing high and tight. You can practice this when you're just doing sprints or footwork drills. Okay, if you can't protect the football, your chance of playing is going to go down. All right, so we got to protect that football. And then lastly is the flexibility. Okay, pre and post training stretching. If you guys don't as a team, make sure you're doing it on your own. If you do it as a team, make sure you do some extra. Okay, because you got to take care of that arm. All right, you got to take care of your arm. That's that individual work that's really going to come into play because this is going to help prevent injury. Your best ability is your availability. And if you're dinged up and nicked up in high school, that's going to hurt your chances of getting video out there, which is going to then hurt your chances of an offer. Now, take that to the college realm. If you're dinged up and nicked up too, you made it there. Okay, when you make it there, now you're going to be hurting on the depth chart side of it. Okay, so make sure we're taking care of our body, make sure we're stretching. Okay, these improvements are what a quarterback college coach will look at. So double down, do all these things, hit it hard. If it translates to your video, this can help you level up your evaluation and possibly have an opportunity at that next level, at that D2 level. Okay, but Kaysen, at the end of the day, everything will come down to your individual work, your outreach, as well as your marketing on social media and your relationship building with college coaches. Okay, so which is why the next step is your athlete interview. You're going to get interviewed with the coach and get coached on communication and your interviewing skills, which is critical for the conversations you're about to start having with college coaches. So make sure you watch the video beforehand and be ready to go. If you have any questions, we'll be able to answer them at the end of the interview. Thank you.